Hey there, listeners. Welcome to the KNEO Community Connection podcast. This is Luke Taylor, and this is a show where we keep our finger on the pulse of everything going on in the four-state area, everything in our KNEO coverage area, and especially right in the Neosho area. And that brings us to what we're going to be talking to today. We're talking to a group called the Newton County Freedom Coalition. And we have a couple guys here who are a part of that, and they're going to talk with us about it today. We have Justin Morehead. He's the chair of the Newton County Freedom Coalition, and also Patrick Miller. He is the vice chair. And hey, Justin and Patrick, thanks for traveling out to the station to chat with us here today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, you bet. Glad to do it.
Yeah, I'm glad we could do it too. Let's start with talking about what the group's all about, and whichever one of you wants to go. But talk to us about where the group came from, what the purpose of the group is, and what you want people to know about it.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll go first. And so our group is the Newton County Freedom Coalition, and we were formerly We the People of Newton County. The state organization is now dissolved, and we were advised to change our name. So that's kind of what we came up with as a steering committee, kind of came up with that name. And, it started about, 2.5 years ago?
Yeah.
We were contacted by Valerie Swearingen. She was actually the director of We the People of Missouri at the time. And we all kind of knew her, were kind of friends with her, and she kind of got with us. And there's we started a steering committee, and there's how many of us? 5 of us? 5 of us. There's me, I'm the chair, and Patrick's the vice chair. Mary is the treasurer.
Mary Fisher's the treasurer.
Mary Fisher's the treasurer. Diane Buxton is the secretary, and then Claude Carter is the member at large.
Okay.
And so we were kind of new at it.
Yeah,
we didn't really know.
We the People was started they wanted a group in every county in the state, kind of as a grassroots organization, basically just to get information out.
Yeah.
And then we kind of came up with I guess I would say our motto, which we're here to educate, equip, and inform
and encourage.
And encourage involvement. And that involvement can be everything from, as running for office if you want, asking questions, getting involved in local civic organizations, local government, city government, whatever. Justin lives here in Neosho. I live in Fairview. How to get involved in our local communities, because we said, if we want to make a difference in the nation, we've got to get it right at home
in our backyard,
and get it right in our backyard. So that's kind of what encouraged us to get involved. That's a little more, but that's kind of how we got started, and how we formed that way.
Yeah, and we just want to bring in, who the public wants. You hear all the time people say, I don't know who's running. I don't know, this or that. And that's just kind of our goal, is to just, inform the people of what's going on. So.
Yeah. And is it once a month that you all get together?
Yes. Every once a month, every third Monday.
The third Monday of every month.
Yeah.
Okay.
We always meet at the NewMac Center.
Center.
We meet at 6:30. And then we try to keep those meetings as close to an hour as we can. Now, we tell people that, a lot of times we'll have the meeting may officially end at 7:30, 8 o'clock, but then they can stick around. We usually tell our speakers, hey, be prepared that if people want to stick around and ask questions, plan for that, and that's worked pretty well.
I think, me personally, the meeting is good, but that after part, when we finally officially close and everybody kind of walks around, talks, and I think that's the biggest part of our meeting.
Then you get to connect with like-minded people and
exactly
discuss what you all have been learning about. So it's the third Monday of each month at 6:30 p.m. And you said the NewMac Center, that's the community room that they got over here at NewMac right here on Highway 86.
Yes.
So, okay. Well, then that's where people can go if they want to find out more. And at these meetings, you said you want to keep people informed and give them information if they wanted to run for office or something like that. So are you all more focused on like local issues or state issues or national issues, or is it kind of a mix of all those?
It's a little bit of a mix.
Yeah.
I mean, the last big election year, which was 2022, I mean, we had a lot of different speakers. We had some people running for the House,
state rep, state senate,
Senate.
We had, and then
we had a few for actual.
We had like Eric Bertelsen sent a representative. I don't think he ever
Mm-hmm.
came, if I remember
No,
right.
Eric Burleson was there.
Yeah, he did come. He is our U.S. congressman.
Yeah,
now.
Eric Burleson was there.
Okay.
Dr. Sam Alexander showed up.
That's right. So yeah, that's kind of what it kind of takes that, in Missouri, because our local elections are early. So we had a lot of local stuff too.
Yeah.
But
our biggest meeting was probably for presiding commissioner.
Okay.
We had a pretty big crowd on that
Full house.
and that was a really good meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And,
But that's what you want to see too. You want to see people caring about
Right.
the local issues and learning
Yeah.
how that actually affects their
Sure.
lives so practically.
And we hear a lot. We hear a lot of people in our meetings. After will say, "We never realized that was going on, or that issue was at hand, or that process, those types of." And that's what we are encouraged in, is that people walk away knowing more about their local, state, and national elections and the issues at hand.
Yeah.
So that's what's encouraging to us.
And we learn a lot too. I mean, so.
Oh, well, if anybody just tuned in, we're speaking today with Justin Morehead and Patrick Miller. Justin is the chair. Patrick is the vice chair for the Newton County Freedom Coalition. They meet once a month on the third Monday of each month, 6:30 p.m. at the NewMac Center, right here on Highway 86, not too far from here at the radio station. And these are meetings where you can just come to become more informed, a more informed voter, more informed citizen, and ask questions, hear from experts. And when your meeting coming up in February, I think that's going to be an important one that people won't want to miss. Can you tell us what that's going to be about?
Absolutely. It's February 19th, and we're going to have Chris Linkard with the Republican Central Committee come.
The Newton County Central Committee.
Yeah, the Newton County Central Committee. And he's going to come and speak on the upcoming caucus in March 2nd. So, Pat,
So what a lot of people may not realize in Missouri is this year we're not going to have a presidential primary where you would have normally gone to the polls in March to vote on the nominee for the respective party. We're not going to have that this year, so they're going to go to a caucus. Most people know the Iowa caucus, right? It's the biggest, and it's the first one. So basically, it's a total shift and change in how your voice can be heard in that presidential primary early on. So it's a big change for a lot of people. Missouri's had those in the past, but it's been a while.
Yeah.
So that's something that's new. I talk to people every day, just hey, do you know about this? And I hear it all the time. Well, we had no idea.
Right.
And then how that works. So that's going to be the big thing this February.
I was going to say, I wouldn't know except that somebody who had been to one of your meetings, I guess the one in December, had found that out and then told me. I wouldn't have known. I don't think I still would have known if I hadn't heard it back then, but it was because of your meeting that word got back to me eventually. So, yeah. So that's going to be an important one for people to hear about.
So and Chris will talk about the main thing for this meeting is to get some more information, but also let people understand the process, how that's going to go. Wade, you can pre-register now for that because there's a time slot. They
can go to MissouriGOP.org.
MissouriGOP.org, and you can pre-register for the caucus. The caucus is March 2nd at the Civic at 10 a.m. in Neosho, which all that information's there.
Yeah.
But it's just the biggest thing.
But you want to get there before 10 a.m.
Yeah, exactly. But the best thing to do is come to our February meeting, and you'll get all that information and more, because we could spend the rest of the night talking about it. But that's the best way is come to that meeting in February.
The primary's gotten a little bit easier with Ron DeSantis dropping out and Vivek Ramaswamy, and if I butchered that, I'm sorry. But I still think it's an experience that people should come and experience for themselves. So
we don't know yet if it's a permanent change or if this is just a one-time thing.
Talking to our elected officials, they hope to go back to that primary. There's just some things happened this year or last legislative session that they didn't get it continued, and I would be not the person to talk to, but know people we could talk to get that information. But so it's kind of the card we've been dealt, I guess you could say, is how I see that. And we'll make the best of it. But I'm like Justin. I think it's going to be a neat experience to see. And the neat thing is, like, my whole family's going. From my 18-year-old daughter, to my 23-year-old son. So it'll be an experience for them to, everybody knows Iowa, right? So we always talk about that, and we talk about elections.
Right.
It'll be fun to be a part of kind of that process.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely something unique. So, and this might be the only chance to try it out. But you can get a preview of it or get educated on it before at the February meeting for the Newton County Freedom Coalition. And also, if people want to find out more information just here in the meantime and stay up to date with you guys, is the best place to go a Facebook group?
Yes. Yeah, we have a Facebook group. It's Newton County Freedom Coalition. We have that one. We actually have a backup account as well, and it's just Newton County Freedom Coalition /backup.
Yeah.
So, and we try to stay on top of different things that are going on around, but that's probably the best way.
Yeah.
So,
and we talk about that at our meeting too. If they come to the meeting, we can link them to that group and those types of things, so they wouldn't have to find it on their own if they want to come to that meeting. So
yeah, all right. And then I guess the one more thing I just wanted to ask about, you all said you've been doing this about 2.5 years, and so that's what, 30-something meetings probably you guys have already had of this. How would you say it's affected your lives in that time and made you a more informed voter?
Well, I mean, for me, example is when we first got involved, I had no idea how the Republican Party, for example, worked in the state of Missouri. So each county has a central committee for the Republican Party. Well, in that central committee for Newton County example, each voting precinct has a committee man and a committee woman, which is kind of that. It's basically the face. So the goal for those committee men and women for those voting precincts is to identify voters in their precincts, right, and help get voter turnout. We all know that whoever gets the most votes wins the election, right? So that's what we're trying to do. I didn't even know that existed, and come to find out, my county or my precinct had a vacant seat that had needed to be filled and had been needed to be filled for a while. So to find that out got me involved in that, and through all that, that's how I've gained so much knowledge about this caucus, is through that central committee. Yeah. So that's one example for me.
Yeah. For me, it's probably just meeting new people. I mean, that's what I've really grown to like about this group, and what's changed, and just getting to know community members, and not only that, but people running for different positions, and knowing what those positions are. When they are elected, there's a lot within Newton County that I didn't know was there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the big deal for me. It's just
we kind of feel in our own bubbles sometimes and feel like there's no one else out there who thinks like I do, or feel kind of alone and feel like we can't make a difference all by ourselves. Yeah. But you go to something like this and you get connected with those people. Yeah. So I can definitely see the benefits there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Were you going to say something?
Well, and now you got involved with this Newton County or Neosho.
Oh, Neosho. I'm with the planning and zoning.
Yeah, and that helped
within there. So yeah, just kind of learning the codes and everything within the city. So yeah, that's been a good experience.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Patrick, I like what you said too about you get to learn the kind of the nitty gritty of how you actually can make a difference here in your local sphere, and that's what it takes for a lot of things, because again, we might see what's going on Twitter, or we see in the news headlines, and we think, what could I ever do to make a difference? But it's kind of like what you guys said. You go to these meetings and you learn what you can do to help out. Yeah. And if everyone does their part, then maybe it can make big differences for our country. It's definitely what our country needs.
Yeah. So, like I say, everybody knows somebody, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, one more time. It's called the Newton County Freedom Coalition. Formerly, it was known as We the People, but they have a new name now. the Newton County Freedom Coalition, and they're going to be meeting at the Newmax Center on coming up here in February on the third Monday. They're going to do that every month at 6:30 p.m. And we just look forward to that meeting and hope people will show up and get informed and become better voters as a result, or better caucus goers, whatever it's called when you do a caucus.
Of course, I mean, we'll still be voting in the general in November.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. I think no matter who you are, you're going to learn something if you show up. So that's coming up here this month and every month. And we want to thank, again, Justin Morehead and Patrick Miller for joining us here on the KNEO Community Connection. This has been Luke Taylor. And guys, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much, Luke.
Thank you.